I've been sitting here just like contemplating which one to do. One of them is really short though, so I might just do them both because I think that, yeah, I want to say this. Marvel had, when she had her book release, she actually had greatly inspired me to pick up some old notes that I had written a really long time ago. And just kind of teetered around the thought of like, what if I wrote a book? And it was always a thought of like, I like do that. And then Marvel had her book release, and then the thought started to crawl back into my head, and so now I have something that's extremely incomplete and pretty short. The next poem will not be that way, but I was like, maybe, yeah, I'll do this. So the title of the one that I guess Marvel inspired for me to pick back up is called The Language of Justice. A little girl who loved to play in the rocks in her red dress turned into a woman who rakes leaves in her heels. A little girl who traded fantasy novels for atlases turned into a woman who marvels at the world. A little girl in a polka dot sweater, not allowing anyone to shop for her until the homeless man on the corner is fed, turned into a woman who dares to say what goes unsaid. A little girl who wanted to do nothing more than speak the ways in which others can understand turned into a woman who learned a language that not many even know by name. She searches for the complex, not the convenient. She soon realizes learning a language is complex, not convenient. She soon realizes justice is complex, not convenient. Language is a vessel of understanding. Translation is the treasure within it. How do I understand? How do I find the treasure? How do I become aware of the language barriers? You'd think deaf ears would be the biggest obstacle, but as it turns out, it's blindness. It's blindness to each other. So I'll sit on the blacktop every recess again and again. I'll pause at the crosswalk corner, whether the light is red or green. I'll take note of how neighborhoods outside my car window are changing like a stop-motion picture. The blink of an eye could miss a whole story that will never let you stop asking why. I watch and I see because that is how I learn to speak. I remember when I was a kid and I used to walk on the tar filler lines on the blacktop at recess, like tracing a picture but my feet were my hands, where one slightly different line would take me across very different sides, where one obstacle in the way would obscure the trajectory of where I was wanting to stay. Everyone else would want to play on slides or the swings, but I'd rather just walk and think, watch and rethink and retranslate. It was where inconvenience was the consequence of trajectory, where convenience was the consequence of trajectory. But the point of it was not which side was I on, but how I ended up there to begin with. Why? And how does why shape the way I think, the way I perceive, the way I speak? Would you be mad if your third grade student in foster care who stole rocks off your desk to pass out to other children to make friends? Neither would I, because I asked why. We can't get to a language of justice if we settle for how things are presented on the surface. The surface is too shallow to solve deeper issues. But sometimes I'm afraid of the deep because I don't see what lies behind. But in order to speak about the problem, I must do my due diligence to see them. As I've said before, the greatest obstacle to language isn't deafness, it's blindness. The deep is something we cannot see only by first glances, and first glances always diminishes justice's complexity. So thank you, Marvel.